This is Gee Whiz God, episode 10, God and Animals. So is this a wildly deep and religious topic? One that you would hear taught on a Sunday morning over the pulpit? No. But does it bear a place for teaching and discussion? A little, hey, Gee Whiz? Yeah, I think so. I have a Labradoodle named Milton. This silly dog brings me so much ridiculous delight. I asked God if it was even okay to love something like that, as if there was a special chamber in my heart created just for him. Am I alone in this type of love that causes grown men to speak like babies at times, or goofy songs to spring forward from the heart whenever you see your pet? Absolutely not. Just jump on any social media, YouTube probably being the biggest place, and you will see the sheer joy and pleasure people have in animals. Millions upon millions of animal videos. I remember one gentleman just picking up his white cat and his arms were stretched out like this and this cat's face all scrunched up and the guy just grabbing it, just kissing this cat over and over. And it was just so funny. And I have no idea why it struck me so, but I just found a lot of pleasure in that. This man loving on his pet. It bears consideration to ask the question, God, what about you and animals? And from henceforth, when I say animals, note this encompasses mammals, reptiles, amphibians, birds, insects, but absolutely not humans. Often I say on topics like these, if you want to understand what is, learn about what was. So back to the beginning, the Garden of Eden. And please note, this is a quick summarizing of, in the beginning, God created. I keep hearing, maintain simplicity, maintain simplicity. I'm resisting the desire to talk about the breath of God, the spirit and the soul, etc. So with this in mind, when God created, there was a common sense order. First, he formed a place to dwell. Then he filled that void with all beautiful and lovely things, which when he was finished, he looked upon it and said that it was good. A word we use trivially in comparison to what God's goodness is. After he stepped back, he said, now let us make humankind in our image, in the likeness of ourselves, and let them rule over the fish in the air, the birds in the air, the animals, and over all the earth, and over every crawling creature that crawls on the earth. So God created humankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them. God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the air, and every living creature that crawls on the earth. And that is how it was. And jumping down to verse 31, God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So there was evening and there was morning, a sixth day. Genesis 1, 26 and 28, in verse 31, Complete Jewish Bible. In those simple couple of scriptures, you hear the voice of love form something having more than ordinary significance from the rest of creation. Something he deemed as extraordinary and special. Mankind, the only of our kind made in his image and likeness. As he is 3 in 1, so are we 3 in 1, body, soul, and spirit. We are more than just a creation. We are sons and daughters. We are family. We're his family. To us, he gave the first commandment, steward what I have made and I have given to you. You can go on to read Genesis 2, 19 to 20, where God brings what he had created before Adam just to see what he would name them. This further signifies a separation between what is a son and a daughter versus what is not. I belabor this a bit because it is important to define human beings are not equal to the rest of creation. Although I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over Milton, he is nothing compared to a son or a daughter. It is not even a question, but if anything should happen to him, I would be in such grief. I'd be very sad. But back to Eden. There is this beautiful and good creation. Man is in an open relationship with God in stewarding what has been given to him. And then we see the great fall of man in Genesis chapter 3. It isn't called the fall of animals. They didn't do anything wrong. They are innocents. But because they are under the rule of man, when man gave over his authority to another kingdom, what was man's now came under that kingdom as well. The same curses, the same sin, the same nature, the same grief, really, the same death happened. Thus, it was not just the fall of man, but the fall of all of creation. As the nature of man now became enslaved to sin, so did all of creation. And really, what you are hearing is the gospel of Jesus Christ, this simple and pure message of salvation. Mankind couldn't save himself or buy himself out of slavery. He needed someone to make a payment, an atonement, which would restore him back to his place of authority. So we fast forward thousands of years, and let me read this verse to you. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life, but be set free from slavery. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him, through Jesus, might be saved. That's John 3:16-17, King James Version. Jesus bought you out of slavery if you want it. Now hear this. It is not Jesus that changes and redeems creation. It's you through him. Romans 8:19-24 in the English Standard Version. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. This is those who said, yes, I receive your payment. Yes, I'll take it. Yes, where you are is where I want to be. The heck with all this other garbage that I'm living in. For creation was subjected to futility, and not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to corruption and obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation has been groaning together in the pains of childbirth until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for the adoption of sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we are saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope, but who hopes for what he sees? So you see, it is not what God does, but instead what you do. He didn't bring all this trouble upon us, but rather like a good father, he laid down his life in the most brutal of ways to allow for us to clean up our mess and what we caused to the world around us. Creation is not waiting for him. They're waiting for us, for you. They didn't need salvation. We did. We are eternal sons and daughters. As you have a divine exchange of the sin nature for his nature, it affects then all of creation around you. As you get saved, in exchange, they're redeemed because we become redeemed, because we chose to become redeemed. They fell because we chose to fall, and they get redeemed because we choose to be redeemed. Even though all of creation is waiting on us, all things do belong to him, and all things do submit to his name. The animals understand this, whereas humans have a harder time. In Numbers, God opened the mouth of a donkey and allowed her to speak. In Jonah, he commissioned a worm for an important job. Also in Jonah, he mentioned to the prophet that he should consider all the animals that would be destroyed if judgment was passed. Read in Job how God shares with him his delight in all that he has created. Read some of the Psalms on God's creation to hear his heart and how he sees them. In Proverbs it says, a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are even cruel. Don't think for 1 second those who abuse animals are getting away with it. Maybe on this side of the veil, but there is an accounting that will come. Do animals go to heaven? The big question that all children ask. Well, I believe that heaven becomes that earth becomes the new heaven and God comes here. But keeping it simple, that is the big question, truly, isn't it? Well, as we can see, they don't need salvation because they didn't sin. They are eternal beings as they are not sons and daughters. But does this negate their passage into heaven? I absolutely believe they go to heaven. Yes, absolutely. Read Isaiah chapter 11. I don't think that is just imagery. Do I think that there are 10 trillion squirrels in heaven? No, I don't know if all animals go to heaven or how that is decided. My sister thinks there could be an animal planet. I do know my dad, my Father in heaven. And I know because I love his creation so much and what he has given me, Milton's going to be there with me. There's not a doubt in my mind. We have a loving and good Father. There's no doubt our animals will be there with us. And really no man can refute this or give some super spiritual narrative stating animals don't go to heaven. The Bible doesn't say directly they do, and the Bible doesn't say directly they don't. The Bible does say our Father is amazing and there will be animals with us, and this is a fact. He does love all of his creation, but it is not him they are waiting upon for redemption. It is us through him. We're their redemption. And if you have a little animal, a little pet, and you are hoping that you see this pet with you, just ask the Father. I'm more than certain. There's no doubt in my mind. But make sure that your heart is right with him first. Make sure you know him first, that you have received salvation. Because it's through you that the kingdom of God comes and all things are redeemed. So that's it.